So Bitcoin is absolutely plummeting right now and we have no time to waste, so let's jump right into the video. As we can see here, day by day, this head and shoulders pattern is continuing to play out exactly as we predicted on this channel. We had a slight deviation of the right shoulder and now we have started to move aggressively to the downside. If you entered the Bitcoin short with me at around the 100K mark, congratulations, because that short is likely in a lot of profits at the moment. And that is the beauty with trading these markets. You can make a lot of profit whether the price of Bitcoin goes up or down. And so if you manage to enter that trade with a little bit of leverage, you could have made some serious profits. If you're looking to make any of the trades that I talk about on this channel, sign up to Weeks, which is the first link in my description. You can earn up to $20,000 in bonuses just for trading crypto as you normally would. And I've worked with Weeks directly to give you a special bonus. So not only do you get that $20,000 bonus, you can also get an exclusive 10% deposit bonus. Deposit $10,000, you get $1,000 back for your trades. If you're interested in that, make sure to sign up with the link in my description. Okay, so let's get right back into the Bitcoin chart. So as I've been mentioning on this channel for several weeks now, talking about this head and shoulders pattern, I think that Bitcoin can go lower and we will see it within the 80K levels in no time. This area on the chart has been support multiple times. And in yesterday's video, I even counted it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now at the time of recording, we have broke down from the support. I've been mentioning that this would be the most likely case scenario for Bitcoin because it's very rare that we tap into these levels without breaking to the downside. And this also applies for when Bitcoin is trying to break resistance to the upside. So what's next for Bitcoin here? Well, we can certainly chop around before moving lower, but I do think that it's likely we will stay range bound between 86.7K to 91.5K. So if we get a daily close looking like this, I think that Bitcoin will now chop around this range before deciding its next move. Now, one of the biggest reasons for Bitcoin continuing to go lower is of course because the stock market is crashing. Whether you like it or not, Bitcoin is still highly correlated with the stock market. So if the stock market has strong corrections, so will Bitcoin. Now, something that a lot of analysts have been talking about and I've been following very closely is the fact that the Trump pump has entirely retraced for the stock market. As we can see here on the chart, this was around the time where we found out that Trump would be president. Everyone was saying it was super bullish for stocks, super bullish for crypto, and we did see a significant pump to the upside. But ever since then, that pump has completely retraced for the stock market. Now, the worrying sign for crypto here is that we have not retraced remotely close to how much the stock market retraced since that Trump pump. If we go back here, we can see that the Trump pump for crypto actually started right below the 70K area, right at these levels, meaning that if Bitcoin were to retrace from the highs all the way down to where it initially pumped once we got the news that Trump would be president, that would be a 37% dip all the way down to below $68,000. Guys, I am not trying to promote FUD on this channel, but I just want to make you aware of what is possible. Now, if we assume that Bitcoin revisits this 87K area, it could find a lot of support there and bounce higher. But the next support level would also be coinciding with the bull market support band, which we've been talking about on this channel for a very long time. The bull market support band is not just significant for crypto, but also for other assets. And we can see that the S&P 500 is actually currently at its bull market support band, trying to hold it as support. In previous bull markets, we know that Bitcoin likes to hold its bull market support band as support before moving higher. It very rarely deviates below the bull market support band and then moves on higher. So currently the bull market support band is actually between $79,000 to $83,000, and it should provide a lot of support for Bitcoin. Now, is it a certainty that we will revisit these levels? No, but it should be a possibility in your books. Make sure you're aware of these key levels for Bitcoin because they would likely provide excellent opportunities to accumulate not just Bitcoin, but more altcoins. I know it's painful, but you need to understand that these drawdowns are part of the bull market. And this brings me back to the old saying that most of your portfolio should be allocated in Bitcoin. You might get annoyed by hearing me say this, but if we take a look at Bitcoin dominance, we're now in a sustained uptrend. We might find a little bit of resistance at around the 60% mark, but it is entirely possible, given the macro, given that we are still in quantitative tightening, that Bitcoin dominance goes ahead and puts in a new top for this cycle before moving lower and before we get the altcoin season that everyone's hoping for. These market dynamics are extremely difficult and no one has a crystal ball. No one can tell you with certainty where Bitcoin's going to go, how it's going to perform, and when altcoins will finally explode. All we can do is look at the charts, and that's what we're doing every day on this channel. So if you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe and turn on that notification bell because you won't want to miss out on any important updates. So back to Bitcoin, I think that the worst case scenario in the short term for Bitcoin would be to eventually revisit these levels that we saw post-Trump pump. And the crazy thing is that it is well within the realms of possibility for a Bitcoin bull market. Now, of course, this would be a massive dip and would likely destroy altcoins even more. But as I mentioned, it's just something that you should keep on your radar. It doesn't necessarily have to happen, but you should know that it's a possibility. So currently we can observe that there are two market participants. Camp one are the people that think that this cycle is different. Bitcoin dominance continues to grind up. Bitcoin moves up in waves based on the ETF institutional/boomer bid. All we get now is pockets of PvP on a few specific on-chain alts at a time in a rotating door of metas. We never get another altcoin season again. Hordes of retail never truly come back. Now, I am personally not in this camp. The second option that most people find themselves in is this cycle won't be identical to the previous cycles, but it will certainly rhyme. Bitcoin dominance will eventually drop hard. We will be more aligned with what we've seen in previous cycles. We will get a version of alt season this cycle, and hordes of new retail and capital will flood crypto. I am personally in camp 2, but for this to happen the way that we want it to, we do need to see monetary policy change, and we do need to transition from quantitative tightening to quantitative easing. And it's anyone's best guess as to when that could happen. The good news here is that if the stock market drops and Bitcoin drops aggressively, it is more likely that we transition into quantitative easing and the money printing starts to happen. So we would likely recover out of that drop and see an explosive move into the end of the year. The bad news is that if we don't get some kind of scary drop in the market, it's likely that monetary policy will remain the same for at least the next few months. And I'll wrap up today's video with CZ. This is his tweet posted on December 17th, 2020. Waiting for the new headline. Bitcoin crashes from $101,000 to $85,000. Look a little bit familiar? It's almost as if he's predicting the future. Obviously, we went all the way up to $108,000, but it is very likely that we do see a little bit more drawdown for Bitcoin. But crashes is a little bit of an exaggerated word. Guys, realistically, Bitcoin has pretty much been pumping nonstop since we broke out around 70K. So if you can't accept these kinds of dips and you can't stomach the courage to buy the fear, then you should understand that this market just may not be for you. And as always, as the market continues to chop around, we're still making significant profits regardless of the direction of Bitcoin. So if you want in on that action, make sure to sign up to Weeks, which is the first link in my description. Again, you can earn up to $20,000 in bonuses, and you can even get a 10% deposit bonus. And that sums up today's quick market update. Bitcoin is dumping heavily, and we're looking to find a little bit of support at around the 90K range, but I think that we will see lower prices for Bitcoin. I gave you the worst case scenario in the short term, which would be to revisit the pre-Trump pump as the stock market has already done. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.